This is the 7th case from the Tanami outbreak. The case was detected at the Centre for National Resilience overnight. It's a Darwin man in his 50s who left the mine site on Friday the 25th. He is a close contact of an earlier case, the local positive case we gave details of yesterday. He was contacted by authorities on the 26th and transferred to House Springs that night. He was in the Darwin community while infectious for about 36 hours. His time in the community included an extended period of close contact with 7 friends, mainly at a private residence in Rabbit Creek. Those 7 people are now being transferred to House Springs for isolation and testing and are considered high-risk contacts. I will now go through this individual's movements, and this is very, very important. For the first time, we do have public exposure sites in the Northern Territory. These will be released through the official channels soon, and we'll keep updating them throughout today if we need to, but I'll read through them now. There are 3 tiers for exposure sites: close contact sites, casual contact sites, low risk sites. There is 1 public close contact exposure site. This makes it a high risk location. This is the Buff Club on the Stewart Highway, Darwin. Anyone who was at the Buff Club on Friday night, the 25th of June, between 5:30 p.m. and 8 p.m. is now required to isolate at their home for the next 14 days and get tested. Everyone in your household is also required to isolate for 14 days. Let me repeat that. If you are a close contact from the Buff Club site, or if you're in the household of a close contact, you are under a stay-at-home order for the next 14 days. That's absolutely 14 days at home. If your home is not suitable for isolation for that 14 days, you'll be transferred to the Centre for National Resilience for your isolation period. We're now doing the work with the Buff Club to contact everyone who was there using the Territory Check-In app, plus the club's own attendance membership records, to make sure everyone is aware of their obligations and to arrange for their testing. Once we have firm idea of numbers, we will report them to you. But right now, we believe there will be as many as 150 close contacts from this site. And I really want to confirm the 14 days. You stay at home for 14 days. The 5 reasons for leaving your house are not available to you. You must stay in your residence for 14 days. Now to the second tier sites, the casual contact exposure sites. There are 2. The first casual contact site is the BWS store on the Pratt Road in Pratt. The relevant period is Friday the 25th of June between 4 p.m. and 4:10 p.m. The man did not leave his car. If you're on site during the period, you're required to immediately isolate and get tested and stay isolated until you return a negative test. The second casual contact site is the Bunnings store on Bagot Road. The relevant period is Saturday the 26th of June between 10 a.m. and 10:15 a.m. Again, if you're on site during this period, you're required to immediately isolate and get tested and stay isolated until you return a negative test. Finally, there is 1 low-risk exposure site. That is the Darwin Airport. This related to the positive case that was detected in Queensland yesterday who came from the mine. She arrived on the charter flight Friday 25th. Unlike the other positive cases, she did spend an extended period of time inside the airport, but she stayed inside the airport. She did not go into the community. Her viral load was considered low during this time, and she wore a mask while in the airport as required. She was in the airport between 1:30 p.m. and 3:35 p.m. on Friday the 25th. She spent time in the arrivals hall, the check-in area, and upstairs in the departure area. She purchased some items at the news agency and at the Dome Cafe. The staff who were there during that period are being isolated and tested. She used 2 bathrooms in the airport, and the cleaners are also being contacted and advised to monitor for symptoms. For everybody else who was in the airport during this period, the airport is not considered to be of risk. You are advised to monitor for symptoms and to isolate and get tested if you develop symptoms. Obviously, the normal lockdown rules apply to you, so you should be at home anyway, apart from the 5 reasons. We will also review the CCTV footage from the airport to see if there was any other activity during this period that could be considered high risk. Remember, everyone at the airport is wearing masks, thankfully, so the risk of spread there is low. Yesterday, I talked about 244 people who had left the mine during the infectious period and stayed in the territory. We've revised that number up to 259 to account for the people who left the mine by road. They are all isolating, either at Howard Springs, the Todd facility in Alice Springs, or at other suitable locations, depending on their risk profile. I will now go through the testing information we have for these people. Of the 259, we have 199 results back. All are negative apart from the ones we have reported. The remaining results are pending. I will update you on these as soon as possible, hopefully by the end of the day. Right now, our biggest concern is not the test results of these people. It is the high-risk exposure site and the close contacts of the new case. We now have a lot more work to do to assess and manage the risk from that site. That's why we need to extend the lockdown to stay on top of that.